Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to tell you a story about myself, how I went from being a civil engineering master's student to becoming a six-figure data scientist. It was an incredible 6-month journey and I learned a lot along the way. The reason I choose this story to share with you today is because the current job market is really tough for people who are looking for their first data scientist job. And I wish I could offer some encouragement by sharing my own story with you. I know one common frustration is that companies want experienced data scientists and most job posts require years of experience. But if you are looking for your very first data scientist job, you will face the chicken and egg problem. You cannot get hired without experience, and you cannot get experience if you cannot get hired. This is definitely a vicious cycle, so I want to share with you how I overcome that. I believe that with the right direction and hard work, anyone can achieve their dreams. I know this because I've done it myself. So let me share with you how I got started. I began my data science journey about 7 years ago in 2016 when I had only 1 semester left for my civil engineering master's degree. My specialization was in transportation engineering. I had some relevant skills. For instance, I was proficient in Python, statistics, SQL, and GitHub. These skills were honed during my research in the transportation engineering department. I worked with a couple professors in the department on aviation research and got opportunities to clean up a large amount of flight trajectory data and build models using the data. However, I never had any internships or work experience in data science. Now, you might be thinking, why is someone without a degree in data science nor any work experience or internship in the field interested in finding a job in data science? Well, I was inspired by the PhD students I was doing research with, who all wanted a job in tech. As I explored the world of tech, I began to see its potential for innovation and impact. I realized that technology is not just a tool, but a way to create change in the world. I felt compelled to be a part of that change, to use my skills and knowledge to make a difference. For example, I was really interested in the products that Uber and Lyft have developed. They have made people's lives so much easier and more convenient by revolutionizing the transportation industry. I also admire how companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are pushing the boundaries of space exploration and making it more accessible for future generations. I love the idea of creating something new and using data to solve problems that had never been solved before. I was driven by the challenge of working with data and the potential of using it to unlock insights that could transform people's lives. And for me to be a part of the change, I need to find a job in tech. But what was particularly discouraging was that none of my fellow master's students were able to get a job as a data scientist. After speaking to my peers and 2 professors in the department, I learned that no one from the same master's program had landed a data science job before, so I was worried about my irrelevant educational background and how I could land a job in a completely different industry. I decided to get started anyway because I only had 1 semester left and I needed to find a job. After I made the decision to find a data science job, I started browsing job posts. I quickly faced 2 major obstacles. First, I didn't have all the required skills, such as machine learning, data pipelines, ETL, etc. I had never taken any machine learning courses in school. So I searched for some courses online and tried to build my skill set by consuming as many online courses as I could. It seemed that there were plenty of resources out there that could help me bridge the gap. At the end of the day, you can always acquire more skills if you want, right? However, these skills were not enough. The second obstacle was completely out of my control, and it seemed impossible to overcome. It was pretty hard for me to land interviews. I spent a lot of time crafting my resume, asked more than 10 people to review it and give me feedback, and spent numerous hours writing cover letters for different positions. After sending out 500 applications in the first 3 months, all I got were rejections. I did not get any interviews from any company. I was worried that I was going to spend a few months job searching and still be jobless after graduation. As I was working with a professor on research project, his former PhD student and a current alum, whom I also knew and had met in the past, came in to visit and say hi to everyone. She was an applied scientist at Amazon. It was very fortunate for me because I had the opportunity to talk with her, share my concerns, and ask for some advice. I told her that I had been job searching for quite a few months and felt stuck. Actually, I was feeling like giving up because it was really hard for me to land interviews. And without an interview, how could I land a job? Also, I didn't have all the skills required for a data scientist job. After speaking with her, she eventually became my mentor, for which I am very thankful. It was a momentous help for me to land a job and become a data scientist. I am still thankful to this day that I was able to get guidance from a more experienced professional, and without it, I'm not sure how long it would have taken or where I would be today. So she agreed to meet with me every 2 weeks for a 1-hour mentorship session, and those sessions were invaluable. Specifically, there were 3 things she helped me with that have been game changers. First, she pointed out many of the misconceptions I had cultivated by consuming information online, such as the belief that writing great cover letters is important. So I used to spend a lot of time writing them along with my job applications. She told me it was a huge waste of my time, as many recruiters don't even look at the cover letter due to the high volume of applications. This single piece of advice saved me a ton of time. Also, I used to be very shy about reaching out to recruiters and hiring managers. I did not know what to say, and if they didn't respond, I didn't know what to do. She helped me review my messages, and she told me that it's not realistic to expect everyone to reply to me immediately. It's important to follow up with recruiters and hiring managers consistently to show my interest and persistence. You know what? That's actually how I eventually got some interview opportunities. Secondly, she reviewed my study plan so that I could focus on what was most important and not waste time studying anything irrelevant to landing a data scientist job. For example, I was taking some computer science algorithm courses to enhance my software engineering skills, and she told me that it was not super relevant to data science. So I knew where to spend my time on things that are most relevant. Lastly, she shared with me lots of tips to prepare for interviews and what I need to pay attention to when talking to potential employers. For example, she taught me how to engage with the interviewer during our conversation and how to provide a structured answer during interviews to demonstrate my thought process. Working with a mentor or coach has been so effective, especially in this day and age. No matter how much research I did, it did not come close to being as useful as actually speaking to someone who has experience. Because as much as you can Google or ask ChatGPT, everyone keeps giving conflicting advice. One website says cover letters are really important to show that you have the initiative to set yourself apart and explain who you are, while another guru tells you that it's actually a big waste of time. So having someone with experience can really help you get your foot in the door. This way, you can learn about the real situation instead of relying on whatever is on the internet or on classically giving advice, which may not be suitable for you. Now, let's talk about the results of my journey. After submitting over 800 applications for data scientist positions, including raw applications, referrals, and cold emails, this effort led to 5 interviews and ultimately 2 job offers. I was so excited that I landed my first 6-figure data scientist job as a civil engineering master's graduate. In the end, I decided to become a data scientist for a supply chain management startup. It was a promising company with over 400 employees building a supply chain management product. What was amazing about the interview process with this particular company was that they hired me on the spot. During the on-site interview, there were supposed to be 5 rounds of interviews, but after the very first round of interview, a presentation, the VP told me I was hired and I could take the rest of the interview easy. I was so relieved because I had been searching for 6 months until that moment. And I can tell you, I could not have achieved that without my mentor's help. Before the on-site interview, she helped me with improving my presentation in 2 mentorship or coaching sessions. She listened to my presentation, asked me questions, and gave me suggestions to improve both my slide deck and my communication. Another thing that was really helpful was that she pointed out that showing up confidently in interviews, especially for on-site interviews, is really important. But you know, I was super insecure, right? I wanted to land a job in an industry that is totally different from what I had been studying in school. However, she taught me how to leverage the skills I already have to impress future employers. For example, this supply chain management company was really looking for someone who knows about transportation, and my specialization in school was transportation engineering. So my mentor actually told me that I should showcase my strength and how I can contribute to the company because of my training in transportation and not be too worried about my weaknesses or limitations. The company cares most about whether you can contribute or not rather than your educational background. So the mindset shift, as well as the practice we've done together, was a key for me to deliver a killer presentation and get hired on the spot. I cannot thank her enough for her guidance. My mentor became a principal appliance scientist at Amazon, and we still have a very good relationship to this day. I continue to learn a lot from her, and I really appreciate her guidance and mentorship. Finally, I'd love to share some takeaways with you. I'm really thankful for my mentor because the difference between the first 3 months of my job search and the other 3 months after I met her was huge. In the first 3 months, I spent a lot of time searching on Google, and I still didn't know whether I was on the right track. It was a big waste of time, and I felt like I was getting nowhere. During the second half of my job search journey, my mentor provided guidance that helped me accelerate the process. As a result, I secured 5 interviews and received 2 job offers. Having someone who knew the inner workings of the industry was crucial in getting my foot in the door. Despite my extensive self-research, even just one sit down with my mentor was more helpful than anything else. Also, I realized that I don't have to do this all by myself. It's a journey that doesn't have to be taken alone. It's great to have someone to encourage you, give you direction, let you know that you're on the right track, that you're spending your time on the right things, and show you what you can do to improve your process. I also realized the importance of investing in mentors or coaches who can provide the support you need. I'm very thankful that I invested in myself and had a lot of support from my mentor. I was really lucky. Even to this day, I invest in coaches and mentors in every aspect of my life. Believe it or not, I have a communication coach to help me improve my communication in my YouTube videos and work with my team members. I also have a health coach who helps me improve my health and strength training, making me feel stronger. I love working with professionals. So that's my story from a civil engineering student to a data scientist. Thank you so much for joining me today on this journey of transformation and growth. I hope you find it inspiring. If you are an aspiring data scientist with no experience in data science, don't be discouraged. It's never too late to make a change. And please let my story be an example for you. Also, remember to ask for help when you need it. You don't need to do this alone. If you can find someone with experience in the field, it would be great if you could connect with them and get some guidance. Very likely, you will achieve the result you want sooner and easier than you thought. Thanks so much for being here and listening to my story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories and content on data science career advice. I wish you a great day, a great career, and a great life ahead. I will see you soon. Bye guys!